became the beginning of his downfall. In 1784, the French king, Louis XVI, also known as the last king, set up a royal commission to debunk Mesmer's magnetic claims. It's unclear to what extent the king felt threatened by Mesmer inducing a social movement. To some, the free flow of mesmeric fluid became a metaphor for cleansing the body politic from all barriers to freedom. Remember, this is only a few years prior to the French Revolution.
But others have emphasized the intimate relationship between Mesmer and Marie Antoinette as the source of the king's misgivings.
Either way, the commission that set out to study Mesmer's magnetism represents a watershed in the history of scientific medicine because they introduced an explicit distinction between real and imaginary treatments. They took imagination out of medicine, you could say. While the seances clearly had strong effects on their subjects, too many things were going on all at once for the commission to feel comfortable assessing the situation as a whole. Instead, they introduced an approach based on a mathematical model where each function should be looked at separately and linked logically to one another. Only that which could be objectively measured was considered valid. They invented the first version of the blind test, which quite literally meant blindfolding the subject while testing the magnetic effect, without them knowing if or where they were being treated. The commission concluded that outside the context of the seances, the mesmeric magnets had no independent curative effect. Zero.
The Royal Commission on Animal Magnetism was the birth scene of modern medicine, insofar as it claims to be a rational practice. Their blind test prefigures the current standard of double-blind clinical trials, where neither patient nor doctor knows if there is receiving active substance or placebo.
The report scandalized Mesmer, who had to flee also from Paris. Marie Antoinette tried to prevent him from leaving by offering him a monthly stipend of 20,000 francs. But Mesmer rejected, suggesting that a sum closer to 400,000 francs would be needed.
Part 2. Magnetic spots.
Also in Paris, but almost 100 years later, a woman in her late 20s by the name Marie-Elisabeth Luc took up a position as the personal servant of Dr. Jean-Martin Charcot, widely considered the father of modern neurology. One afternoon, Madame Luc was running an errand for Charcot. On her way from Montmartre to Bastille, she was struck by a sudden tremor. Charcot writes in his observation that it looked like she was drunk.
I too went to Paris in my late 20s in a desperate attempt to rescue my love life. My partner at the time had just moved there, and our relationship was under stress. So I bought a ticket, hoping we could sort things out face to face. Our meeting was tense, and as we walked along the Seine, I was struck by a sudden numbness in my left leg. I had no idea what it could be, and I started dragging my leg behind, hoping my partner would not notice my limp.